Okay, Sergeant Luke, going back to the Jaws or Peahi scene where you made those observations on what was identified as Charlie Scott's vehicle. Did you stay there that entire night?
I did not, sir.
And what happened at that point after you made these observations?
After we concluded the investigation for that night, the scene, we left the scene was secured. We left the patrol officer there to make sure nobody entered the scene.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you folks have done with the vehicle, the burned vehicle identified as Charlie Scott's vehicle?
We had it towed to the Kihei police station.
That night?
That night, sir.
And what did you do at the end of the night?
After we were finished at the Jaws area, I followed the vehicle to the Kihei station.
Okay. And where was it stored?
At the impound lot at that time.
Okay. Now, approximately what time would this have been, if you recall, when I guess when Charlie Scott's vehicle was taken to the Kihei police station?
I cannot give you the approximate time, sir.
Okay. What was your next course of action after the vehicle was taken to the Kihei police station?
We secured the vehicle there. I met back with the other detectives at the Wailuku station, and we planned or strategized what we were going to do the next day.
Okay, and what was the plan as a lead officer? Or the lead detective? What was the plan for the following day?
For the next day, we were going to search the area of Jaws for any clues.
Okay. And when you say we, who does that involve?
Members of the Criminal Investigation Division, Special Response Team, and our Crime Reduction Unit.
Okay, you mentioned a couple of units there. What is the Special Response Team?
That would be SWAT, the SWAT guys.
What I guess other departments call SWAT?
What other departments call SWAT, we call them, the abbreviation is SRT, which is Special Response Team.
Okay, and then you mentioned another unit, CREW. What does that stand for?
CREW is our Crime Reduction Unit. And then
the CID members or detectives from the Criminal Investigation Division?
Yes, sir.
And approximately how many officers, detectives, and police personnel are the approximate number, if you know?
Against the time, are we still talking about the meeting?
With respect to the group that you're planning to do the search the next morning at the Jaws or Peahi area?
That night, I did not know exactly how many members from the SRT was available. I know we had 3 other detectives, plus me was 4, and then the 3 crime reduction people were going to be there.
Okay, and what time did you plan to meet at the Jaws or Peahi area to begin the search?
About 9 o'clock, sir.
Now, why did you wait for the next day to begin the search instead of that night?
Because of the darkness, there's no lights in the area, so we know the area might be dangerous to be walking around in the dark.
And I'm sorry, did you mention the time that you folks were planning to meet the next day?
We met at the Wailuku station at 8 o'clock at the CID office.
Okay, when you say we, who are you referring to?
Again, the detectives, the SRT, and the CREW personnel.
And at some point, did you folks go up to the Jaws or Peahi area where you had been the night before?
Yes, sir.
And at that time, do you have an approximate head count of how many detectives or officers were involved in this search?
To the best of my knowledge, sure, it was 20 from the SRT, 3 from the CREW, and including myself, 4 detectives.
And did you folks organize yourselves once you received, or once you arrived, not received, once you arrived at the Jaws or Pe'ahi area?
Prior to that, at the Wailuku station at the CID office, I broke everybody up into 3-4-man teams and laid out the plan of what we're going to do, how we're going to search the area.
Okay, and can you tell us what was that plan?
So once we got to the area, we break up into our teams, and each team was designated a certain area of Jaws to look at.
Now, when you say the area of Jaws, are you able to give us an approximate size of this area that this team was going to be searching?
Approximately.
Or a range?
Approximately about 20 acres.
And are you able to tell us what time you folks, the teams, arrived at the Jaws or Pe'ahi area that morning?
Approximately 9 a.m.
And as you sit there, did you folks, well, first of all, did the teams that you set up conduct a search of the Jaws or Pe'ahi area?
Yes, sir.
And to your knowledge, was anything recovered and reported to you that morning from the Jaws area?
No, sir.
Did you folks just stay in the Jaws area that morning?
No, sir.
And what was the plan or the organization that you made with respect to searches done that morning? This is Wednesday, February 13th, 2014.
After we concluded our search of the Jaws area, we all met back up. And then we got into our vehicles, headed out to Hana Highway, and we're going to drive from the Jaws area on Hana Highway back towards the Nahana direction.
Were you just going to drive straight there, or did you have a plan?
Our plan was to look along the roadway to see if you saw anything. Stop off at areas, ravines, gulches, drop off areas, bridges, just to see if you can see if anything was thrown out along the roadway.
Now, Sergeant Lewin, in looking for things, was there anything specifically that the search teams that you had organized was going to be looking for?
Anything of evidentiary value, clothing, possible, clothing. And at that point, we were even looking for a body,
So then let's start from the Jaws or Pe'ahi area. How did the search commence from that area out towards the Hana direction?
So basically, everybody, after we concluded, everybody got into their vehicles in their teams, and we told certain teams, okay, we start from this point to this point. The other team would leapfrog in front of us, continue from where we ended to the next point, and the other team would do the same. So we're not all bunched up in one area.
Now, you said you folks were in your vehicles. Did you guys just stay in your vehicles, or did they get out of, or did you folks get out of your vehicles?
No, we got out of our vehicles, sir.
Okay. And when you got out of the vehicles, what were you guys doing?
At that time, we would be looking, okay, well, here's a drop-off, here's a ravine, here's a bridge. Let's search this general area, look over the side, see what we could see, if we could see anything.
Okay. Were these still teams of 3 and 4?
Yes, sir.
Now, from the Jaws or Pe'ahi area, as you're doing this type of search, what's the next landmark or town that you would have come into?
You would hit Twin Falls.
And approximately, do you know the approximate distance between Peahi and Twin Falls?
Objection, lack of foundation.
Yeah, no, ask if he knows it first of all.
The objection is overruled.
You can answer the question.
The approximate distance, sir, is 5 to 6 miles.
And how is it that you know that?
Google Maps.
Well, did you actually travel it yourself?
No object leading there.
The objection is sustained.
How else would you know the distance between Peahi and Twin Falls?
I drove that roadway, sir, that day of the search.
And
Object is lack of foundation. It's not like he testifying that he's looking at the odometer.
Objection is sustained.
yeah, after
Yeah, move for strike and answer.
that's fine, Judge. We have maps.
The motion to strike is granted.
After you, did you yourself participate in the search from Peahi to Jaws?
From Peahi to Twin Falls.
I'm sorry, I just spoke from Peahi to the Twin Falls area.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And to your knowledge, was anything recovered and reported to you?
No, sir.
Did you folks continue the search in the manner you described past the Twin Falls area?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what is the next landmark or town that you recall at that point?
Would be Huelo.
And are you familiar with Huelo?
Yes, sir.
Now, you guys conducted a search down to, did you do the same search in the same manner, not the same search, but did you conduct a search in the same manner that you described from Twin Falls to Huelo?
Yes, sir.
And was there anything recovered or reported to you during that portion of the search?
No, sir.
What is the, did you folks continue on at that point?
Yes, sir.
And what is the next landmark, if any, that you folks continued on to?
That would be Kailua.
And are you familiar with Kailua Town?
Yes, sir.
And did you participate in the search from Huelo to Kailua Town?
Yes, sir.
And was it done in the same manner?
Yes, sir.
Was there anything recovered or reported to you?
No, sir.
Now, while this search is going on with the Special Response Team, the Crime Reduction Unit, and the Criminal Investigation Division, are you aware of any other searches that may be taking place during this time period?
Yes, sir.
And how do you become aware of that?
I talked to Carly's mom, who informed me that they wanted to have their own volunteers.
I'll go ahead and object.
This goes to his state of mind as well as the effect that this information has had and his knowledge of what's going on at the time.
That's not the question asked. The question was, was he aware of any other search?
The question here is, and how did you become aware of that?
That's correct.
And the injection to that question is overruled.
Okay, can you continue with your answer? How did you become aware that another search was taking place while the police department was doing their search?
Because I talked to Kimberly Scott, Charlie's mom. She informed me that she wanted to have her friends, family wanted to search for Charlie, so they organized their own search teams.
Now,
So I'll object. That's all hearsay. It's being offered for the truth of the matter of
The
search.
objection is sustained after the phrase, because I talked to Kimberly Scott.
So I'll move to strike that portion.
Motion to strike is granted.
okay, so after speaking with Kimberly Scott, Sergeant, at some point, did you run into another search party?
Yes, sir.
At what point was this?
Around the Twin Falls area between Piahi and Twin Falls.
Okay. And can you describe the search party that you ran into after the Twin Falls area?
Basically, it was people that who wanted to help find Charlie.
Okay, were these citizens or were any of them employees of the Maui Police Department?
These were citizen volunteers, sir.
Now, you only ran into them by the Twin Falls area, is that correct?
At that time, yes, sir.
You did not see them by the Piahi or Jaws area?
I'll check that. Misstated the testimony. It's between Peahi and Twin Falls.
The objection is sustained.
Okay, where did you run into them, Sergeant? These are the citizen volunteers.
Somewhere between Piahi and Twin Falls
Okay.
area.
Were any of them within the Piahi or Jaws area?
I cannot say for sure.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Did you run into any of them while the police were doing the search at the Jaws or Piahi area?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, you testified earlier that you folks were leapfrogging each other doing the search in the manner you described. As the police is doing their search in that manner, are you folks running into the citizen volunteers that are searching?
We eventually ran into some of them.
Okay, no, while you're doing the leapfrogging, are you running into them, for example, from the Twin Falls area to Huelo?
So I'm going to object as asked and answered and or leading.
You know, this is a foundation question. Okay, you can answer that question if do you understand it?
Can you repeat the question, sir?
While the police are doing their search in the leapfrog manner that you described, and this is from the area now from Twin Falls to Huelo, are you running into the citizen searchers?
I'm going to object to the form of the question and lack of foundation what all the police encountered. If he's asking what Sergeant Liu encountered, that's fine.
The last phrase of the question was, are you running into the citizens?
That's correct.
The objection is overruled.
Okay, please answer the question.
As far as for other officers, for
You.
me, no.
Is there any interference, if any, with the citizen searchers as you folks are doing the leapfrogging with the police search?
No, sir.
Okay. And is there a reason for that?
They weren't part of our search group.
Now, Sergeant, I think we took off. I mean, we last left off at Huelo. Did the police group continue its search from Huelo on towards Tihana direction?
Yes, sir.
And what is the next, I guess, landmark or town that you would have come into contact with?
That would have been Kailua Town.
Okay. And you folks continued the search in the same manner you described earlier?
Yes, sir.
Was anything recovered from Huelo out towards Kailua Town that was reported to you?
No, sir.
Now, did you folks continue past the Kailua Town?
Yes, sir.
And as you continued past...
I'm going to object to the form of the question. When he says you folks, is he meaning Detective Liu's vehicle and who's in his vehicle?
Objection
Or
is sustained. Please just state the grounds. Thank you.
Thank you. Did your team continue to search past Kailua Town?
Yes, sir.
Are you aware whether or not the other teams you had organized continued past as well?
Yes, sir.
And how are you aware of that?
Because we would be passing each other.
And would this be the same manner starting from Piahi, now all the way to Kailua Town.
Yes, sir.
Had anything changed?
No, sir.
What is the next landmark past Kailua Town that you folks would have run into?
Bamboo Forest?
I'm asking you.
Yeah, there's Bamboo Forest would be the next visible landmark.
What, if any, I guess, information or alert did you get between Kailua Town and Bamboo Forest?
One of the civilian search parties informed us that they found.
Object, relies on hearsay?
You know, this again goes to the effect that this has on the listener, in this case Sergeant Liu, and his conduct thereafter.
It's nonetheless offered for the truth of the matter, sir.
And it's not offered for the
I will,
asserted.
I'll sustain the objection. I think if the question is rephrased, you'll be able to obtain the information that you seek to obtain.
What, if any, alert did you get, without telling us what it was at this point, did you receive as you were continuing your search between Kailua and the Bamboo Forest?
That one of the civilian searchers.
Objection, hearsay?
Without telling us what they told you, did you get an alert from somebody?
Yes, sir.
Who?
Dispatch.
Okay. And after receiving an alert from dispatch, what was your course of action, Sergeant Liu?
To head up to that area.
To head out to what area?
The area of Kamahina State Park.
And what was your reason for you to head out to, and what is the state park's name?
Kamahina.
To Kamahina State Park. What were you going to look for, if anything?
One of the civilian searchers found something of interest.
Now, after you got this alert from dispatch,
Actually, before the next question, I'll object as to hearsay. It relies on hearsay?
Your Honor, his conduct relies on hearsay after what he did next.
So he's admitting it's hearsay.
The objection is over.
Thank you. You can proceed. So what did your team do after you received that information from dispatch?
We proceeded out to that location.
And again, the location is, can you state it?
Kamahina State Park.
Is there a milepost marker related to the Kamahina State Park?
It would be between mileposts 9 and 10.
What is that? Did you receive any alert that something was of interest by milepost marker 18?
Yes, sir.
When did you get that alert?
We're just talking about milepost 9 to 10, and there's going to be a correction here. I'm going to object to the leading.
The objection is over.
Okay, you can answer that question. Did you receive an alert with respect to milepost marker 18?
Yes,
So I'm going to
sir.
check. That's leading, and it relies, well, it's leading.
The objection is over.
The answer is yes, right?
Yes, sir.
And at what point did you receive that alert?
That was prior to the alert at Kamahina State Park, sir.
So you received an alert. When you received that alert regarding milepost marker 18, what was your course of action when you got that alert?
At that time, myself and Detective Adachi, excuse me, we're going to head out to that area to check it out to see what we could find or what we saw there.
This is milepost marker 18 you're talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, is milepost, to your knowledge, is milepost marker 18 past the Kamihina State Park?
Yes, sir.
And you just testified earlier, Kamihina State Park is by what milepost markers?
Believe between 9 and 10.
Okay. Now, as you're on your way to check out milepost marker 18, I'm trying to figure out when did you receive an alert with respect to Kamihina State Park area?
That was while we were making our way out to milepost 18.
And so did you folks go directly to milepost marker 18, or did you stop at the other area?
And I'm gonna check this leading in the form of the question. What did you do next would be the proper question.
You know, I can
The objection
rephrase
is
it.
overruled.
Okay, I won't rephrase it. Go ahead and answer the question.
Can you answer the question? Yes, sir.
Did you folks go directly out to the milepost marker 18 after you got the alert about the Kamihina State Park?
We got the alert first for milepost 18, so we're headed that direction. While we're en route to milepost marker 18, then we got another alert about Kamihina State Park area.
Okay. And what did you do at that point?
As we're making our way to milepost 18, we stopped off at the area between MP 9 and 10 Kamihina and met with a civilian.
Okay. So at milepost, between milepost marker 9 and 10, is that where you met with that civilian?
So objection leading, seems
I'm
facts and
trying to-
amendments.
The objection is sustained.
It wasn't answered, by the way. When did you, or where did you meet with the civilian you just testified to?
On Hana Highway between mileposts 9 and 10.
Okay. And did this person identify himself or herself?
Herself.
And who is this?
I believe it was a Gail Barkley.
Objection you're saying?
You know, if she identified herself, she can say her
The
name.
objection is overruled.
Okay, well, tell us her name again. Sorry, you got interrupted. Pardon me?
Gail Barkley?
And did Gil Barkley lead you to any place in particular?
Yes, sir.
Where did she lead you?
To the Mackay shoulder side of the roadway.
When you say Mackay, which direction is this?
The ocean side.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you observe when she led you to the oceanside part of the roadway?
A pair of blue jeans.
And what, if anything, did you notice about the pair of blue jeans?
It had stains on it.
And did those stains resemble anything to you?
They resembled possible blood.
Now, were members of your team there at this point when you're observing these jeans that was pointed out to you by Gail Barkley?
I know for sure Detective Adachi was there, sir.
And can you describe, Sergeant Liu, how you saw the jeans? First of all, are the jeans on the ground, on a post, or how would you describe it?
They're laying on the ground on the vegetation.
And is there anything, or strike that. Can you describe how the jeans are laying on the ground?
It was just kind of, I would say a pile. Well, not a pile, but,
Can you describe it for us?
It's just laying there, laid out, you know. It
Was
wasn't
it-
neatly folded or
Yeah,
anything.
it wasn't folded.
No, sir.
Now, what was done with those jeans, if you know?
Those jeans were recovered as evidence.
Okay. And who were they recovered by?
Detective Adachi?
Was that in your presence?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to show you some photographs here. We don't have the jeans here. What do you need?
I need a shovel for the printer.
You write me on it. Okay, you know, may I approach?
You may do so.
Okay, Sergeant, I'm showing you what has been marked for identification as State's Exhibit 121. Please take a look at that and I'll have further questions for you. And do you recognize what's depicted in State's Exhibit 121, marked for identification?
Yes, sir.
And what is it?
The pair of blue jeans were recovered.
Now, in the picture, who's, is there a portion of somebody in the picture?
Detective Adachi's hand.
And who took this picture?
I did, sir.
Does this actually depict the jeans as you photographed it back in February 13th, 2014?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would move into evidence State's Exhibit 121, which is then marked for identification.
Mr. Uphold.
No objection, Your Honor.
State's Exhibit 121, marked for identification purposes, is received in evidence.
And Your Honor, permission to publish State's
Permission
Exhibit
to publish is
121. Thank you. Okay, Detective. Can you just step down? And you can, oh yeah, I forgot that information. Can we, sorry, sit down and use the pointer. If, Sergeant, using the pointer, you testified earlier that you observed possible blood-like stains on the jeans. Are they depicted in this photograph?
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you point that out for us, please?
That would be on the lower half of the jeans.
Okay. Okay. And Your Honor, may the record reflect with the pointer the defendant has indicated towards what would say a colored mark in the middle portion of the photograph of it, and it's on the jeans.
Proceed.
Okay. Detectives, you can have a seat. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, have a seat because I have some more photographs to go over. You don't know? Okay, where's the one for him?
Do you want this one?
Oh, no, we don't have one with the jeans.
No, this is, I have this.
Okay, he's seen this already then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach again?
You may do so.
Okay, Sergeant, I'm going to show you. Okay, Sergeant, I'm going to show you what has been marked as State's Exhibit.
Oh, didn't mark it right.
Let me see what this is.
Oh, sorry. Did you print on that?
No.
126.
126.
Is that what it says on the tag?
State's Exhibit 126, marked for identification, asking if you recognize.
Yes, sir.
And what is it a photograph of?
Overall view of where we found the blue jeans, sir.
And does that accurately depict the overall view of where the blue jeans were recovered?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, let's take a move into the State's Exhibit 126.
Quick pause here, Your Honor.
Proceed.
Detective, when was that picture taken? Do you know?
Which picture?
The picture you're testifying to right now?
You're referring to the State's Exhibit number?
Yeah, which exhibit?
6, marked for identification purposes. Mr. Upland.
Yes, yes.
She isn't.
When was that
Making for her yet.
taken?
Yeah, I just printed it for you, sorry.
That particular picture, I do not know exactly when that was taken,
That's
sir.
why I put the sticky.
Okay, and
ABC.
you don't know who took that picture either, right?
I do not know who took that picture, sir.
Okay, so
That's fine if you don't get it.
Because the touch was good.
you don't know whether that picture was taken near or around the time period when the jeans were discovered, in contrast to, for example, a year and a half later.
Yes, sir, I don't know exactly when that picture was taken.
Okay, and in terms of when the jeans were found, I take it you made a marker and photographed it where it was found?
I don't understand the marker part.
Well, I guess, well, let me ask you, did you mark the location of where you found the jeans at any point in your investigation when you did find it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so, when was it that you first looked at that picture that we're talking about right now?
That particular picture was a couple of days ago.
Right. Now, you didn't at any time check whether the picture with your markers or marker matched, or the area with the mark. You never bothered, prior to testifying today, to compare the two pictures, the one that you took when you found it and that picture there, right?
You won't see 9 and 10.
I did not compare the two pictures, no, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions. So I would object as to lack of foundation.
The court will sustain the objection. You may supplement your foundation.
If there was an answer, I'll move to strike.
You know, there was an answer.
Your questions were in aid of your objection, as opposed to...
Okay, yeah, that's right. Thank you. Thank you.
And your objection is to admission of the photograph. You may supplement your foundation if you would.
Thank you. Sergeant Luke, the area that you just looked at in State's Exhibit 126, which has been marked for identification, do you know if that area is between milepost markers 9 and 10?
Yes, sir.
And you testified earlier that is the area that you recovered the blue jeans that's depicted in State's Exhibit 121? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not asking about the number,
Oh.
I'm asking about the substance of the question.
Yes, sir.
And the area that is depicted in State's Exhibit 126, is that the same general area where the blue jeans that's shown in State's Exhibit 121 was recovered?
Yes, sir.
To your knowledge, has our roadway to Hana changed in the past 2 or 3 years?
So, Your Honor, this is just about general area and nothing specific. I have no objection. Well, I would then, if it, in terms of relevance. If it's, what's the relevance of a picture within a mile if they're only talking about a mile span? If they're talking about a mile span.
Judge, he testified that.
So the objection at this point is no longer foundation, but relevance.
Both, yeah.
They're both. All right. I'll sustain on grounds of foundation and overrule on grounds of relevance.
In looking at this picture, are you able to tell from this picture,
So, I'm sorry, again, If it's just for general area, then I have no objection, if that's the proffer.
All right, then you withdraw your objection as to foundation if it's to depict the general area where the chains were recovered.
If it's just the general area.
That's exactly what I've been asking,
The
Sergeant.
question then is, the objection then is withdrawn. The court at this time will receive an evidence states exhibit number 126 marked for identification.
I've typed in one verse. Oh, sorry. I'll start at 121.
Okay, your permission to publish.
Permission is granted.
Thank you. Okay, Sergeant, I'm showing, if you can step down and grab the pointer, we're going to show you State's Exhibit 126, which is in evidence.
You may step down.
Okay, can you tell us what are we looking at here at State's Exhibit 126?
This is a photograph of the overall area. This is take from you're looking towards the Wainuku direction of Hana Highway.
Okay, so if you're, okay, go ahead. And when you first saw the pair of blue jeans laying on the ground, was it on the roadway, or was it, when I say roadway, I mean, was it to the left side of the guardrail that's depicted in the picture, or was it to the right side of the guardrail?
As I'm looking at the picture, sir, it would be on the ocean side of the guard, or the right side.
Okay, thank you, Vince.
I take it down. Take it down.
Yeah.
Here's your order.
Is this for?
The way to know I love. This is on way to know I love. This is
Okay, did you go there? You went there the next day, though. I didn't even get that far yet. I'm gonna move into the house.
okay. No problem.
Now, Detective, I'm gonna skip ahead here to the next day on Friday, February 15th. I'm sorry, Friday, February 14th, 2014. Did you further your investigation the following day?
Yes, sir.
At some point during your investigation, was it ever your intention, Sergeant Liu, to, I guess, observe Charlie Scott's home where she lived?
Yes, sir.
And did you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you please tell us how that transpired?
The morning of February 14th, I contacted Kimberly Scott, asking her if she could meet me at Charlie's residence up in Makawao.
And do you recall what that address is?
10 Ahu Valley Place.
And did you actually go up to that residence?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How did you find out that it was Charlie Scott's residence?
From Charlie's mom and from the police report.
Okay. And did you actually meet with Kimberly Scott at that residence?
Yes, sir.
Were you alone or with any other police personnel?
I was with evidence technician Tony Earls.
Now, when you arrived at that property where Charlie Scott's dwelling or where she lived, did you have a chance to observe the property itself?
Yes, sir.
Okay, could you please describe that for us?
So I'll object, there's going to be pictures.
That doesn't mean anything.
The objection is overruled.
Okay. please describe the property for us.
The property itself is a pretty large property, surrounded by a rock wall. Driveway leading into the property. There's one main dwelling. There's several other detached dwellings, if you want to call them that, and a common bathroom, shower area in the middle of those other dwellings, detached dwellings.
And were you able to, I guess,
I'm going to object as to the characterization of a common shower.
That's fine.
Lack of foundation. To strike an answer.
The objection is overruled.
Okay, now, were you able to be directed to Charlie Scott's dwelling, or where she actually lived on that property?
Yes, sir.
And how was that done?
Kimberlyn Scott.
Were you able to gain entrance into that right away?
No, sir.
Were you able to gain entrance at some point?
Yes, sir.
And can you please tell us how is that you gain entrance into her dwelling?
I met with the landlord of the property who had a key to her residence.
And the landlord, do you know where he resided?
He resides in the main dwelling on the property.
And did he identify himself to you?
Yes, sir.
As you sit there, can you recall his name? Last name, first name?
Last name is Final.
Now, you said he provided you with a key, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
When you got to Charlie Scott's dwelling, did you enter?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell us what you observed upon entering?
When we entered into the dwelling, there's an attached kitchen area, which is enclosed. Then you walk into the living room, and then towards the back of the residence is the bedroom. Inside the dwelling, there was items thrown about or displaced within the unit.
When you say within the unit, were there separate rooms within the unit?
There's a living room, and then there's a bedroom.
And as you entered, did you folks enter into the living room / bedroom area?
Yes, sir.
And who entered there with you?
Kimberlyn Scott.
And what, if anything, transpired as you folks entered into the living room area? Yes, the living room area.
As soon as we opened the door and we walked in, first thing Kimberlyn told me was she noticed the TV that was in the living room was missing, the stand was missing, and the items that were placed on the TV stand were just kind of dumped on the floor.
And did you observe what she was pointing out to you?
Yes, sir.
Did she mention whether anything else was missing?
Then when we got into the living room, she looked to her left and she told me that the wooden toys that Charlie just received as a gift for a baby shower was missing.
When you were informed, when you were given this information that these things or items were missing, as a police detective, what action did you take?
That time, I went out. I found the landlord again.
Well, before that, did you make any checks around the house?
Yes, sir. We checked the interior of the house to see if anything else was missing and to collect any evidentiary items of evidentiary value.
Now, Sergeant, did you notice any signs of forced entry when you entered the home?
No, sir.
And what would that have meant to you, forced entry?
If there was forced entry, if I noticed any markings or if the door lock was busted or a window was missing, then I would suspect a burglary.
Okay, did you see any signs of that?
No, sir.
Now, you said before I cut you off, you mentioned that you went to the landlord's place?
Yes, sir.
And what was the reason for that?
To ask the landlord if he knows anything of who went into Charlie's residence.
Was this because of the missing items?
The missing items, yes, sir.
And did you have a chance to speak with the landlord at that time?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell us what happened while you were speaking with the landlord?
The landlord told me that
Objection, you're
What-
saying.
Without,
Objection is sustained.
right, I'm not asking you what the landlord told you. I'm asking you what, if anything, happened while you're speaking with the landlord? Or what, if anything, did you notice after speaking with the landlord?
after speaking with the landlord, standing outside of his residence at his back door, there's a sliding door that was open, but was closed by the screen. Looked into the residence from the outside. You could see the TV that matched the one that was taken from Charlie's residence inside his residence, which was already hooked up and running. I then noticed little kids on the floor by the TV playing with the same type of wooden toys that was described to me by Kimberly Scott.
When you made these observations, did the landlord make any statements with respect to the television or the toys?
Yes, sir.
And what did he say?
Objection, lady. I'm sorry, you're saying, sorry.
What was the kind of state of mind?
Respectfully, the state of mind
For that declarant.
the landlord or the witness is not a fact that issue during this trial.
After you spoke with the landlord, was any action taking place with respect to the TV or the toys?
We made arrangements with the landlord and Kimberly Scott to have Kimberly Scott pick up the TV and the toys from the landlord.
Now, Sergeant, I'm going to show you a series of photographs in this. Thank you. And these will be State's Exhibit 42 through 46 in that sequence. And for the record, Council is reviewing State's Exhibits 42 through 46 marked for identification, and he has received those photographs prior to this trial.
Your Honor, the defense is willing to stipulate these exhibits in the interest of time.
Is the state of Hawaii asking the court to receive these exhibits?
That is correct, Your Honor.
There being no objection to the exhibits being received, at this time, the court will receive in evidence State's Exhibits 42, 43, 44, 45, and 46, marked for identification purposes.
And Your Honor,
Publish if you so.
thank you, Your Honor. Now, Sergeant, if you can sit down using the pointer, permission for the Sergeant to sit down, Your Honor.
You may step.
Okay. Looking first at State's Exhibit 42, which is in evidence. That's this one, yeah. Okay. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
This is a photograph of Charlie's house, looking at the main entrance into her dwelling. Back here is the main house, landlord house. Behind.
Let me make a record. When you said back here, are you referring to the left side of the photograph, a white house? I think that's to the left side of the photograph.
Yes, sir, the two-story dwelling.
Okay, go ahead.
So this would be depicting the outside of Charlie's house looking in through the main entrance to the residence.
Okay, and when you say the main entrance, you're indicating to a door that's open towards the left middle of the photograph?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what do you see at the entrance portion of Charlie's residence?
The kitchen area and looking into the living room area.
Now, you testified earlier that the mother, Kimberly Scott, noticed that the TV television was missing. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of television is this?
It would be approximately 60-inch flat screen, something like this.
60 inches.
I believe it's approximately.
And from the photograph that's depicted in Case Exhibit 42, from that photograph, could you tell where the television would have been had it been in there?
Yes, sir.
And can you indicate that with a pointer?
In the middle of this photograph, it would have been against this wall.
Okay, when you say against this wall, you're looking at the second opening of Charlie Scott's dwelling, and that's again to the left middle of the photograph.
Yes, sir.
You're pointing towards the middle of, I guess, the opening, the second opening.
Yes, sir.
So just to be clear,
Excuse me, do you have an objection?
no, just regarding what he's pointing at,
Well, Judge, this is direct examination.
in terms of, are we talking about the back wall of that second room?
Your Honor, the record should reflect that he's pointing to the white wall of the entrance room that's in the middle, left middle portion of the photograph.
That's fine.
Proceed.
Now, turning your attention to State's Exhibit 43. Okay, what are we looking at here, Sergeant?
This is this photograph is an overall view of the kitchen. So when you go up the stairs, first room you come to is this kitchen area of the residence.
And was anything pointed out to you that was disturbed within the kitchen area?
No, sir.
Now going to State's Exhibit 44. And what are we looking at here, Sergeant?
This is still in the kitchen, but now you're looking from, if you're facing, the sink is behind you, looking towards the front door here on the left of the photograph.
And in looking at State's Exhibit 45. Is there anything in 44 I missed? Oh, okay. Excuse me, Sergeant, looking at State's Exhibit 44, you see that I guess a box that's towards the bottom middle of the photograph?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What is that there?
I believe that's a car seat, sir.
I'm sorry,
One question, one back, no. You believe that's a car seat?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that brought to your attention that morning or
objection
noon?
meeting?
The objection is sustained.
Okay. Moving on, Sergeant, to State's Exhibit 45. What are we looking at here?
This is an overall view of the living room area. So as you enter into the dwelling, the second doorway, you're standing at the second doorway looking towards your right.
Okay. Now, you testified earlier that you saw things that were either displaced or put up on the floor, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are they depicted or shown in State's Exhibit 45?
Yes, sir.
Can you point to what you meant when you said that?
That would be on the lower left hand of this photograph. These items here laying on the floor.
Okay, and that's the left-hand corner area?
Yes.
Now, is it shown in this photograph where Ms. Scott would have told you her TV and the stand was located?
Partially, it would be on the wall, the left of this photograph.
Okay, so you're, with the pointer, you are indicating to the middle left, all the way to the left portion of the photograph.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now State's Exhibit 46. Okay, and what are we looking at here, Sergeant?
This is a overall photograph, excuse me, of Charlie's bedroom. You're already inside the bedroom, looking towards the doorway of the bedroom, which is over here on the left of the photograph.
Okay.
Portion.
Okay, thank you, Sergeant. If you could please have a seat. You know, maybe approach.